political institutions and starting positions. Hi, welcome back. Political and legal institutions are the products of human minds. We have made legal and political institutions, not just for fun, not inevitably, but to make our lives better, to help us solve some of the problems that we face, to help us respond to the harsh realities of the world, to help us meet our and each other's needs. In this way, they are a kind of tools, a kind of technology, like cars or bridges or telephones. Unlike many tools, however, the help they provide is not just to make our lives easier or to allow us to do things or go places that might otherwise be difficult. Sometimes political and legal institutions serve this role, but many have argued that they play another crucial role, helping us to fulfill our moral obligations to ourselves and to each other. The first question that we will consider is this: why should we have a state? Why should we have a government at all? That question will occupy us over the next 2 weeks. The rest of Unit 1 is an introduction to the many answers that have been given to that question. All of these answers are, in a way, part of a response to the human condition. In this segment, segment 1.1, we will consider this particular feature of the human condition. Human beings on planet Earth are born into many different starting situations. Some people are born into great wealth, privilege, and opportunity. Some are born into great poverty, disadvantage, and lack of opportunity. Many have thought that this fact, the fact of our different starting places, gives rise to certain moral problems, given facts about what it is to be a human being. Here's one such claim. Human beings are creatures with different kinds of potential skills and abilities, and as such, we have a moral entitlement, a moral right to what is needed to develop those skills and abilities. So here are some of the things we need: physical health, survival, bodily integrity, freedom of movement, control over our environment, the ability to develop and exercise our capacity for imagination, thought, practical reasoning, and play, the ability to develop and exercise our capacities for love and emotional engagement. Martha Nussbaum and Amartya Sen have developed this argument, highlighting the importance of what they call the capabilities approach. On this view, one purpose of political institutions, and one of the basic problems of justice, is to help make sure that people have enough material resources and education to realize all of these different capacities, all these different capabilities, which they claim are central to human existence, and that people be able to do this regardless of their starting positions in life. Nussbaum and Sen argue that this is essential for our individual welfare, but also that it's a central concern of justice, something that all of us should be concerned about as part of our moral obligations. A related thought is that human beings are autonomous creatures. What is autonomy? There are significant discussions about this concept, but one basic idea is that a creature is autonomous if it's capable of acting for reasons, of thinking about what it believes, values, and cares about, and developing plans and goals in light of those beliefs and values. We can set our own ends and then reflect back on those ends. We can step back from what we currently believe and ask, is that belief justified? We can step back from what we currently value and ask, do those values make sense? Are they the right ones to have? Although we are autonomous in this way, that doesn't mean that we are born autonomous. Rather, there are various material and developmental preconditions to allowing us to develop our autonomy and to become autonomous creatures. We don't just need to be free from external restrictions in order to be autonomous. We don't just need to be free in the sense of not being in prison. We also need some positive support through education, material support, such as shelter, food, and water, love, and society. On this view, one purpose of government or political institutions is to help make sure people develop their autonomy, regardless of their different starting points. John Rawls and others stress that the situation that we're born into is a morally arbitrary fact about us, It's something that none of us had any responsibility for, and so we should not be unduly benefited or penalized simply from the situation into which we are born. Whatever we think the proper principles are for allocating resources, for distributing goods and opportunities, employment, it won't have anything to do with something morally arbitrary like the fact of our birth situation, or at least that's the suggestion that Rawls and others have made. On this view, one purpose of political institutions is to help make sure that the distribution of benefits, burdens, opportunities, and so on are not simply a function of the situation into which we are born, and that this is required as a matter of justice. A related concern is motivated by the thought that we are all fundamentally morally equal, although we may not be equal in terms of our talents, attractiveness, intelligence, perseverance, strength, and so on. Many of these other factors are the product of our birth situation, some combination of genetics and our early environment. On one kind of strict egalitarian view, one purpose of government is either to eliminate all inequalities or to eliminate some subset of inequalities, perhaps those due to morally arbitrary factors, whatever those end up being. This may be good in its own right, sort of leveling the playing field, or it might be good instrumentally to prevent social or political domination or oppression. So, we've seen different rationales for having a state: happiness and human flourishing, focusing on our capabilities; autonomy, justice, and equality. All of these different rationales, all of which stem from the fact that we're born into different starting places. That's just the basic fact about the human condition. The state is seen as something that can help make various kinds of morally important corrections to the initial situation that we find ourselves in.